Well, this was not the plan.
6/8 of Mayday, we're going 3-2.
080 at 5, wait, attention all aircraft, emergency in progress.
So I'm buttoning this up because we popped the motor today during takeoff for the first heat race of the year. We came back to the hangar knowing we had a problem, so the first step was just to start decaling. In the meantime, we reached out to Matt Jackson. Based on Matt's notes, Steven just showed up with the stuff to pull the fuel injectors, and we're gonna start by checking those out. Nice thing is it's an easy thing to see. So yes, they're plugged. Yes, we know that we've fixed something, and we can then move towards ground runs. Hopefully a flight test tonight, if not tomorrow morning, and then we'll be ready to race tomorrow.
The line's fucked.
So you found something?
But number 5.
Oh no, I broke something.
So this line right here, it's like very tough to pull these off, especially when they don't come off very often.
So it kind of twisted and sheared?
Exactly, so we have to replace that line.
Kinked and then I tried to straighten.
A maintenance error, that's not what happened during the flight.
No, which is good.
If that happened,
that would have been a spectacular failure.
that would be impressive.
Okay, right in here, see these lines? Lines from the fuel injection.
Yep.
And these are the little injectors the fuel goes through. And if you look, you should look through them, so, you know, you pull this one out. Yeah, you can see some light through there. And then there's this one.
You can't get lights come through that one?
No light, no nothing. So you got the same flow going to Spider, and if you have one cylinder, no flow going to one cylinder, then it pushes all that fuel through the other 5, and 5 go rich and 1 goes cold. So that's how he ended up with a low EGT, one cylinder running really rich. And the shaking would be because you have one not really doing anything.
If that's the case, there's probably something in the gas. If there's something in the gas, then we should check all the filters. We should sump the tanks, and maybe we should even, because I just put a fresh load out of the truck. Should we tell them? There was definitely a moment while I was waiting for the gear to come down and the engine was not responding and the runway was coming up quickly, where I was visualizing Ruth Sanders' face as I explained to her why I had totaled her airplane when I was going to do a nice Sunday drive air race at Reno, and ended up with an engine failure during takeoff.
Ground sport pace with the sport bronze lineup when you're ready. Sport pace, go ahead.
72-99-68-22-270-181-28-888. So we had an engine problem yesterday, or the last time we flew the airplane. As I was coming off the course during qual, the airplane ran rough. I diagnosed it as a rich condition that was unusual, and after debriefing with the owner, etc., I became confident that it was a fuel pump issue, that I had the fuel pump on at a time when I wouldn't normally have fuel pump on, and quit worrying about that scenario. I can admit that I was excited to go racing and was a little bit hesitant to call it a mayday, but as a result ended up in a pretty gnarly spot. So Ruth's point was a little bit popped halfway between Reno and here.
I was saying this is not a good place for engine failure, remember that?
Yeah, and I was like, nah, this thing never quits. So I'm sitting here editing the footage from the emergency landing. I just want to be super clear. First off, there's a lot of smiles and stuff as we're working on the airplane, etc. This is absolutely serious business, and I don't want to misconstrue that. Secondly, the purpose of the filming, the reason I fly with GoPros in the airplane is first to document what happened for debriefing purposes. And this is a great example of that, where I'm able to go back myself and look at what I did and could have done better or could have improved on. And then thirdly, the reason that I'm releasing it is because I would like to share those lessons learned to other people that can benefit from them. The idea is not that I did nothing wrong. I've obviously made mistakes on this flight. I make mistakes every time I fly. So engine start was pretty much as expected. Noticed after engine start that idle was up. This thing here at Stead will idle really slow to the point where you actually have to be worried about it quitting. It wasn't doing that. It wouldn't idle below 1,000 RPM. I'm like, that's weird. Run up was fine, except there was a low frequency rumble. Like you could see the panel moving, I could feel it in my shoulders. Like only at like 1700, you pull down off 1700 and went away. takeoff, stood the power up, and I got like 2 backfires right as the last bit of throttle went in. Doesn't usually do that. Acceleration seemed normal, maybe a little bit slow. What's going on? I looked down, EGT is cold. So I think this is probably the biggest mistake of the day is bad habit patterns from running the old Continentals. When we were running the race motors, like you were always fighting the fuel control. I think I've told you about that, right? So I looked down, I'm like, oh, we're fat. So pull the mixture back and get the mixture right. So grab the gear handle, gear up, just about the time the gear's hitting the well, it just falls flat on his face. There's a cliff at the end of runway 8, right? So I'm not going straight ahead. I look left for my big left turn for 3-2 and race 2-2. The guy who's behind me is now in my armpit right here. He's down on my hip. And, I called him on the radio. 6-8 needs to board. 2-2. I need room.
And 6-8's boarding. Need to make a left turn. 2-2.
080 at 5.
2-2. I'm going over the top.
Sport pace starting up, shallow left turn.
At this point, the engine's getting worse really fast. Gear's still up, flaps are still a takeoff. Now I've got the runway made, but I've used up all of it. So
6-8 to Mayday. We're going 3-2.
080 at 5. Wake. Attention all aircraft. Emergency in progress.
888 is airborne.
I'm at full power, coming downhill. Gear's not. I don't have green lights yet. Waiting for green lights, green lights, boom, chop the throttle and set it down.
Hey, they're locked in.
6-8's down.
When I first touched the brakes, I thought I was going in the dirt.
So you had like 3 different airplanes like, hey man. This is one of those cases where how many hey mans do you want before you listen?
Right, and so I'm self-conscious about fucking with the mixture rather than aborting.
So was there some get there-itis as far as I wanted to run
Yeah.
this race?
I mean, of course. Yeah. And I have a lot of confidence in this airplane because Dennis sets up a mean airplane.
And 6-8's boarding. Need to make a left turn. 2-2.
080 at 5.
2-2. I'm going over the top.
Sport pace starting up, shallow left turn.
6-8 to Mayday. We're going 3-2.
080 at 5. Wake. Attention all aircraft. Emergency in progress.
888 is airborne.
Hey, they're locked in.
6-8's down.
Follow the airplanes in.
68's got power to taxi.
Attention all aircraft, the emergency has been terminated.
To put the fire out of the fuel.
Yeah, and I was able to keep it running enough because that 2-2 was right on my left. I couldn't go for the runway. I had the gear up. Anyway, so fought with it and then got it running enough to get out of 2-2's way, get the gear down. Okay, and then I've never seen the gear move so slow. I think that was just me. Sorry to drag you all the way back here.
Oh, no worries. This is where we hang out.
Oh, far out.
This is our side of the airfield.
Oh, okay.
What's going on?
I think it's a fuel controller thing. Just got rough and progressively rougher as the takeoff went on. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll pull the cow and see what's going on with the fuel controller.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks.
The only other symptom was it wouldn't idle below 1,000 RPM, and usually up here it's like down at 300 or 400. It's way down.
Well, to run it up, we'll have to coordinate a spot to run it up.
Right. I just didn't want to shut it down without asking you. So.
No, that's fine.
So it probably makes sense to get it in the hangar and get the top off, get the cheeks off, and I would just start by looking at the connections into the fuel controller. Make sure that these handles aren't loose and moving where the rod ends go into the fuel controller. Because the fact that I got a change in idle and maybe a change in the mixture setting.
Yeah.
Is that silly?
No. But you don't have to pull the top control. You just pull the side panels to see the fuel control.
Okay.
And check all the connections, check all the hoses, and check all the linkage. Make sure they're correct. Screwdriver in the airplane.
Yeah, it's behind the seat.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. There's no like puddle of oil or anything on the belly or anything obvious.